The Supersticks created by Joshua Kendrick. Read by Charlie 11 Lab. Chapter 1. The Rise of Dark Green. The story begins with the main Superstick characters, Red, Blue, Orange, Green, Purple, and Pink, who is Red's girlfriend. An army of black stick figures, led by a hooded figure who appears taller than the rest, descends from a cliff. He points at the Supersticks and commands, "Attack!" His army charges toward them. The Supersticks manage to fight off most of the attackers until Orange uses his superpowers to teleport Red, Blue, and Purple away. Tragically, Pink loses her life to the Shadow Army. As Green is on the brink of defeat, the Shadow Army moves out of the way to let their leader through. The hooded figure approaches Green and says, "With your help, we can destroy the Supersticks together." Green hesitates but ultimately agrees. He vows, "I will hunt them all down for you," joining their side. Black uses his powers and transforms Green into dark green. Suddenly, everything freezes as a white stick figure appears, looking shocked, sighing before he says, "Here we go again." He then disappears and time resumes. Green sheds his weapons and disappears at super speed to hunt down the Supersticks. Chapter 2. The Return of White. We see Red, Orange, Blue and Purple regrouping. Orange expresses regret for not being able to save everyone. Suddenly, Dark Green appears. Purple greets him but is quickly struck by an arrow from a hidden crossbow Dark Green had been secretly carrying. Orange tries to again teleport them to safety. Dark Green pulls out a shadow dagger, draining Orange's energy so he can't fight back. Red yells, "Kick him!" and attacks from the other side. Dark Green taunts, "Is that all you got?" As giant tentacles emerge from his back and the ground around him, they reach up and pull Red down, who vanishes as he hits the floor. Blue responds by shooting two gigantic beams that knocks Dark Green out of the sky. Laughing, Dark Green grabs Blue, calling him a puny creature, and throws him to the ground. Suddenly, White appears, floating high in the air. He zooms down, grabbing Dark Green. Using his powers, he creates a portal and hurls Dark Green through it. White then turns to Blue and says, "Look, Blue, you need to find the others," mentioning Brown, Yellow, Cyan, and the light-coloured twins. Then, White vanishes. Red is shown floating through a void in endless space, now released from a tentacle. He spots Pink and they draw closer to each other. Chapter 3. Reunion in the Void. White teleports into an empty room. A grey figure wearing an oxygen mask appears. White apologizes for not being able to save everyone. The grey figure responds saying, "It's okay, son. Your mother would have been so proud of you. It is not your fault that your twin brother Black turned evil." Scarlet, White's wife, appears and reassures him. They embrace and White expresses gratitude. Meanwhile, Pink and Red float in the void. A black mutant stick soldier emerges from a portal, grinning as his mouth opens into tentacles inside it. The soldier attacks, but Pink and Red defeat him. Over in the lab base, Dark Green is looking sorry for himself. Black appears and demands, "Why didn't you defeat them?" Dark Green explains how he almost did, but White appeared from nowhere before throwing him through the portal. Returning to the scene of the previous battle, Blue, now alone, looks to the ground, where he finds a picture of the Supersticks together, picking it up before following White's directions to find new allies. As he leaves, he doesn't see the ground opens up behind him. Red and Pink emerge from the void. However, they would be too late to inform Blue that they are still alive. They decide to track down Blue and the others. Chapter 4. The New Allies. We encounter the twins, Brown and Yellow, alongside Cyan, who are locked in a battle with a Dark Soldier. The Dark Soldier throws a sphere of fire towards the trio. Cyan uses their ice powers to act on the flames, while Yellow used his powers to divert sphere away from them. Brown, who is a giant, is able to use his strength and punches the Dark Solider, who disappears into the sky and out of sight. We see the now diverted sphere narrowly miss Blue, who had just arrived at the scene. The twins and Cyan look at Blue with curious expressions. Brown asks, "Who are you?" Blue responds, "I am here to gather you all." Blue explains the situation with the Dark Army and asks for their help to defeat Black. Everyone agrees, except Yellow, who doesn't want to get involved. Brown argues with Blue, prompting Cyan to intervene. Suddenly, Pink and Red appear. Blue expresses surprise at seeing them. Red explains how he had found Pink in the void and the Dark Soldier with the tentacles. The group now united as the new League of the Supersticks. They pose together and declare, "Black is going down!" Chapter 5. The Battle Begins. In Black's lab, Black and Dark Green discuss upgrading Dark Green to a mutant. Black insists, "You need to upgrade before the Supersticks come." Dark Green agrees and enters a chamber. Black reassures him before pressing the activation button. Meanwhile, the new League of Supersticks are faced with Black's army as they try to find Black. They struggle against Black's army, but a beam of light eradicates the enemies as White appears alongside Scarlet. He warns, "If you don't stop Black, he will take the world for his own." Suddenly, White is pulled by a chain. Black, controlling the chain from his robotic hand, grabs White and calls him a traitor, throwing him into a pit. The Supersticks dodge lasers and enemy attacks, but Black announces, "I'm going to fight you myself instead of my army, and get the job done." Chapter 6. The Final Clash. Black clutches his mechanical hand into a fist as he struggles against the Supersticks. Suddenly, the dark post chambers open in a cloud of fog, releasing a transformed Dark Green with 4 arms, wings, long tentacles, scorpion tail, and crab claws. He flies across and joins the battle. A colossal battle ensues between Brown and Dark Green. Brown punches Dark Green, but Dark Green counters with a powerful blow, using his crab claw to grip onto Brown. Dark Green shoots a powerful cannon into Brown, knocking them both to the ground. Elsewhere, the rest of the group attacks Black. White manages to use his strength to open a portal for the group to escape before passing out. Black prevents this by destroying the portal with his laser. Black prepares to end the Supersticks when Cyan and Yellow fuse together and make a new, powerful green stick. Using their combined powers, they freeze Black in place before slamming him to the ground. Red, Pink and Blue fuse together into a super rainbow stick, firing a magical rainbow beam into Black, sending him crashing through the lab wall and over a cliff. The super rainbow stick changes back to Red, Pink and Blue, followed by Cyan and Yellow also returning. They cheer together as they have defeated Black. Behind them, Dark Green wakes up. Looking angry, he charges towards the unconscious Brown. Yellow spots this and shouts out to the group. Red runs in the direction of Dark Green, increasingly getting faster before using his powers to set off an explosion in front of Dark Green. The lab around them collapses. To be continued.